Good morning. Good morning to you. I would like to start off our session this morning. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor for me to moderate this session. My name is Rosa Stella Mbulu. I'm an advisor at the Technical Support Unit of the Mitigation Action Facility. And as you know, the Mitigation Action Facility provides support for countries on mitigation action. The Mitigation Action Facility is funded by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Change, the British Department of Energy Security and Net Zero. It also has received funding from the European Union, the Danish Ministry of Climate and Energy, as well as the Children Investment Fund Foundation. Over the next 60 minutes, we will receive some statements from our donors, and the TSU will provide you some details regarding our application process, and then we'll showcase 2 projects that are currently in implementation, and then thereafter we will have the opportunity to interact with each other and engage, and also have a nice breakfast. Without any further ado, I would like to invite Pete Dale to deliver his statement. Pete, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here in the NDC Pavilion to be talking about the Mitigation Action Facility. The MAF is a program that we are immensely proud of in the UK, and we see it playing a key role in the international climate finance landscape that is filled by few others. Crucially, it helps to bridge the gap between the technical support available to countries in setting goals and developing sector strategies to get boots on the ground for projects which, if successful, can be scaled up to much larger solutions. As I'm sure you know, the Mitigation Action Facility provides high-value grants of up to £20 million or 25 million euros to countries to achieve lasting transformative change. Through a combination of technical support and finance for demonstration projects, the MAF enables developing countries to prioritise action in hard-to-abate sectors. This, in turn, can provide confidence in policymakers, local communities and private investors about going further and faster. For example, we've had projects that have gone on to seek funding from larger funds such as the Green Climate Fund. So not only do we value this type of accessible funding, but our country partners do too. We have huge demand from emerging economies for our calls to proposals, often with many more exciting and impactful proposals than we can fund. And that is why we take every opportunity we can to encourage other potential contributors to join the MAF family and help us to expand this impact. MAF activities play a key role in supporting the Breakthrough Agenda as well. The Breakthrough Agenda is an annual process that is intended to enhance international collaboration efforts to make clean technologies the cheapest and most accessible option globally by 2030. The Breakthrough Agenda currently covers 7 sectors which globally account for 60% of emissions. The Mitigation Action Facility already delivers on 4 of these sectors through its portfolio of projects, and those sectors are steel, road transport, power and hydrogen. MAF will continue to deliver targeted action in these high-emitting sectors, which is why I'm delighted to be making the following 2 announcements today. Firstly, I'd like to invite you to join me in celebrating the projects from the Call for Projects 2024 that have been recently selected to begin their detailed preparation phase. For the detailed preparation phase, they will receive funding and development guidance from the facility. They were selected from a highly competitive round, so we have a great selection of projects. We actually have 7 projects to show you. I think we have slides for each of them on the screen. Do just so that we can get through them all. We'll leave the applause to the end, and hopefully they're going to come up in the same order that I have them written here. So, okay, first we have from Kazakhstan, we have empowering cities and energy savings. From Turkey, we have a project on advancing the decarbonisation of the cement industry. From Vietnam, we have vision on sustainable industries. From Bhutan, we have closing the energy gap. From India, we have deep decarbonisation of industrial clusters. From Brazil, we have electric bus accelerating the just and green transition. And from South Africa, we have accelerating steel decarbonisation. So these successful projects will go on to the detailed development phase. They'll be awarded full project funding to implement their mitigation actions to help meet the partner country sectoral NDCs. So join us in celebrating them. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the second announcement that I'm really pleased to launch is the call for projects 2025, which is open as of today. It will continue to focus on energy, industry and transport, and more details on that are on the MAF website right now. So please do go there to find out how to apply to those to that round. We work really closely with our fellow donors, with Germany, the Children's Investment Fund, with Denmark and the EU, and we really look forward to receiving these applications. And I'm really pleased to be now handing over to Philip from Germany to say a few words as well.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Pete. Thanks, Rosa. Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here. Well, the new call is out. Great. So I hope that everyone was listening very well, and now you're back to your offices and preparing great concept proposals. Also, congratulations to the selected projects. We are very much looking forward to further working with you and support you in developing good project ideas. Maybe just to give you a little bit of context, we're here in the NDC Partnership Pavilion. Thanks a lot for that. Because the NDC 3.0 are one of the main issues here at COP, right? It's not to be decided here at COP, but we all know the next round of NDCs is to be submitted in the coming month. And those NDCs need to be more ambitious, with a higher quality, more of a all of government, all of stakeholders approach, and of course they need to be implementable and investable. And the NDCP is strongly working together with more than 200 partners to support countries in designing those new NDCs, which is really crucial. But supporting our partners in designing new NDCs is, of course, only the first step. If we keep asking countries to increase their ambition, they normally reply, well, but who will help us to implement those NDCs? And that's where the Mitigation Action Facility comes into play, because this call and the projects we are looking for are supposed to be one of the many components of our support to implement those NDCs with a clear sectoral approach. So the better, the more ambitious your NDC is, and the better this proposal or the new proposals are part of this or are referring to that, I would say the better your project concept will be. So how does the Mitigation Action Facility do that? Pete already referred to this combination of technical assistance and financial assistance. I think this is key. I mean, I would say it's unique for this facility and the kind of projects that we set up. We know that this is also very demanding. It's pretty complex to set up good FA components which are really consistent with the TA part, but it's actually what we need. We are here talking about the NCQG, and no matter what comes out, it's essential that private finance is somehow connected to that. I've said that many times, and probably all of you as well. Public money will not be enough to cover all the demand. And this is where, again, the Mitigation Action Facility comes in with combining the needs of the private sector. First of all, it is, of course, the regulatory and the policy framework, which needs to be in place if you want to have the necessary reliability to invest. And then you need to have the investment tools, like de-risking instrument, other innovative finance instruments. And that's what our projects are about. And actually, we are very proud of many of the projects that we have received already. So it's a sectoral approach. We focus on 3 sectors: mobility, energy, and decarbonization of industries. And I would like to say just a few words on this last one, because decarbonization of industry is something which we consider is really crucial for our success in international climate mitigation, because industry sector is responsible for more than 20% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And when you look at the current NDCs, I wouldn't say it's neglected, but only 50% of the current NDCs take a real closer look at that and cover the sector in an appropriate way. And when you look at the climate finance which is flowing at the moment, there's just a minimal proportion of it going towards industry decarbonization. And I would like to use this opportunity to refer to the Climate Club, has been founded 2 years ago, and now with 43 members, last week was in the position to launch the global matchmaking platform, which is managed by UNIDO. And this global matchmaking platform, we think, can really be a game changer, because there you have a one-stop shop where all developing countries, emerging economies can come and say, well, we need support. And then the UNIDO team is going to work with you and define what kind of support is it. And then it is going to be distributed to all potential delivery partners. And yesterday we were able, jointly with our colleagues from UK, with Canada and the CIFs, to pledge 1.3 billion euros to support industry decarbonization. And this is happening in the context of this global matchmaking platform. So for us, this is really a key sector. Okay, maybe at the end, last time we received more than 500 project proposals. And you can see how many people are in the room. And if you compare that with the previous years, interest is growing, I would say. And 500 and more project proposals is great. But UK and Germany, Denmark, the EU, and the CIF cannot cover all of those. So what we need is additional contributors. So all of you, please feel ready to join in and support either the Mitigation Action Facility in a whole or the respective projects, which really are in line with your funding priorities. And in the end, I would like to say thanks a lot for the NDC partnership to support us here and being with us, and the great cooperation between the NDCP and the Mitigation Action Facility. We think that this is essential because those things belong together. And thanks again to UK, EU, Denmark, and the CIF for this great cooperation in our board. And I would like to hand over to Sören and please ask you, after you have listened to everything, to stay with us, to connect and network a little bit. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, good morning also from my side. It's much better to be in a crowded than in an empty room. So, so great to see you all here. My name is Søren David. I'm the head of the technical support unit to the Mitigation Action Facility. We're basically the portfolio manager of the facility. Yeah, it's great to see so many familiar faces here of a growing family of projects. I would say difficult to single out, but I think we have probably more than 60 persons here in the room. We by now also have more than 60 projects in our portfolio for support. More than 900 million euros of funding that is provided by our donors. So this is a massive undertaking, and our gratitude goes, of course, to the donors for providing that funding for a long period of time. The facility was founded at COP13. I don't know who many of us were there at the time. I wasn't there, but I know that Pete Betts from the UK, who passed away last year, and Norbert Gorrison were kind of the fathers to found the facility, and it has ever grown from one strength to another. At this stage of the facility, with 3 key sectors in which we select projects, I believe we are well positioned to have even more impact projects in the future. And everybody who deals together with us will know how pragmatic, how fast we are to actually ensure that applicants can move along to implement them. So we are quite satisfied and happy to have those 7 projects from the 2024 call selected and announced today. Congratulations to all those projects. I see some representatives here in the room from WWF, from Turkey. Who else is there? But I wanted to also quickly mention some project reps from our portfolio who really, I think, are extremely good examples for the outstanding work and impacts that are generated. I'm looking at, where is Yadigwa? Yadigwa Masinga. She is a director for climate change at the Ministry for the Environment in Mozambique. And that project has had such a push and such an impact in Mozambique, and was so instrumental for the legislation on an environmental tax for packaging to be passed and endorsed. That is really a great achievement, and congratulations for this project to advancing that far and getting to the end of the implementation phase 1. And then further looking around, maybe Luis Pasagronde. He's Director General of Cartier. Cartier is implementing a project of ours in Honduras. And I think the interesting and striking thing about this project is that there is a multitude of grant agreements to smaller entities, but one really large going to national finance institutions with the name BAMPROVI, that will hand out funding for a lot of individual small ticket size holders, actually. So I believe that's one good example of a project where the financial mechanism that we are supporting goes to a large multitude of beneficiaries. And on the other hand of the spectrum, we will have one gentleman later on from Namibia, which is Tangeni, that will talk about his project, where it's kind of the opposite of the spectrum, where we have a project that is one single big ticket investment. If we maybe can go forward one slide. Once we get to the networking part of this slot in 10 minutes or so, we will basically split into several corners and have discussions in small circles. And I will probably be together with our friend from Namibia, where we'll be talking about the facility. I will be highlighting some aspects of the new call, and you will be talking about gender. And just as a preview, and also to promote the call further, it is open now. If you go to our website, the online application platform has been opened, and we will accept project submissions to be presented by the 19th of February. I think the important thing for all applicants to know is that there is a high degree of continuity in what we're doing. So the 3 key sectors have been mentioned. That will be the focus of what we will be supporting. And then there is also, in terms of the thresholds, from 5 to 25 million euros of grant support and all the other features that are essential to our project selection. They will be there. I think one of the main changes you will see, actually rather refinement, I would say, that we have been decreasing the upper limit of project submissions per applicant from 10 to 6. And yeah, we hope that there will be great interest. As Philip mentioned last call around, we've seen more than 500 applications, which I believe is a good demonstration of the need for support out there. So we are very much looking forward to receiving further submissions and going into the sectioning for this next call. Thanks all for being here, and I hand it back to Rosa.
Thank you, Søren. Now we are going to move over to showcase two of our projects that are in implementation at the moment. So I would like to call upon Tangeni. I'll start with you. If you could just quickly tell us what is it that your project aims to achieve?
Okay, I don't know. Okay, it's on. Okay, good morning. My name is Tangeni Chivute. I'm the project manager for the 40 megawatt Ochikoto biomass power project. And our project basically aims to address two issues in Namibia. The first one is Namibia is a net importer of electricity. We import maybe 50 to 60% of our electricity, which obviously means you are giving away a lot of your economic potential to your neighboring countries. And we have a lack of what we call baseload power. So we want to generate baseload power using a phenomenon which is quite specific to Namibia, where we've got a lot of what we call encroacher species. We've got these bushes that dominate the landscape, and they take up significant groundwater resources, which for a country like Namibia, which is susceptible to drought, is quite a difficult challenge for us. And it also lowers the biodiversity because it comes in and dominates the landscape. So what we want to implement is what we call sustainable bush thinning, where we do not eradicate these bushes, you just thin them and make sure that the landscape is a more productive, more environmentally sustainable landscape. So basically it's an environmental goal and also an electricity goal.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Rebecca, you are responsible for the e-mobility project in Kenya. Would you like to tell us what you aim to achieve there?
Thank you so much for that, Rosa. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Shirley, Deputy Director for Africa at the World Resources Institute. Our project is about electric mobility. And, you know, although Africa is not responsible for most or contributing in large part to global emissions from the transportation sector, it is the fastest motorizing continent on the earth. And this motorization is absorbing all of the second-hand internal combustion vehicles that the rest of the world is leaving behind. So if we have any hope of ensuring sustainability in our transition to a low-carbon future for transportation, we have to address Africa today and make sure that we're preventing a future vehicle stock that is full of internal combustion vehicles. But actually, this transition is already underway. In Africa, we're seeing a massive uptake of electric mobility. It's not for the reasons you might think. It actually doesn't have a lot to do with emissions. It has a lot to do with the cost of living in Africa. In Africa, we're seeing very rapid spikes in fuel price. And these are economies with very low purchasing power, and therefore we are incredibly price sensitive. So every upward increase in fuel costs or levies results in a market increase in electric vehicle adoption. And this is happening not in the private vehicle market, but actually in the public transit and the paratransit spaces. Effectively, the buses and the 2- and 3-wheelers that are commuting millions of people across our urban metropolises every day. And so right now, in a country like Rwanda, electric 2- and 3-wheelers are actually already over 10% of the market. That's huge. But the estimates show that that number could be way bigger today if it weren't for the challenge of access to finance and the lack of an enabling environment that's supporting a sort of systemic transition to electric vehicles. So that's what our project hopes to address. We're so thankful to the MAF and the investment that they've made in us as WRI and our partners, the Africa Guarantee Fund. We're going to be able to support the government of Kenya in ushering this electric vehicle transition at a faster, accelerated rate by doing two things. One, we're going to have a finance support fund, a financial support fund or facility, and two, a technical assistance facility. Technical assistance, obviously, to provide bespoke policy and regulatory support to the government. And our finance facility is going to do two things. One, upstream, it's going to help de-risk the challenges. It's going to provide risk guarantee mechanisms for manufacturers, suppliers that want to grow the vehicle stock that they have. The numbers and the demand is out the door, but we don't have the stock, actually, of EVs. So we want to grow the stock whilst being sensitive to that price mark, that price level of the market. The second thing that we're going to be able to do is downstream, we're going to provide credit enhancement mechanisms for buyers. These are the fleet owners, the riders, the drivers who actually want to transition. By doing these two things, technical assistance and financial assistance, mirroring the very MAF structure itself, we're going to be able to usher in 67,000 new electric vehicles, 2- and 3-wheelers on the roads of Kenya by 2029. So we hope that this facility and the work that we're doing will help to scale the growth of electric vehicles across Africa. And I think we'll have a lot of great insights, even for markets beyond the African continent. So again, thank you to the MAF, thank you to our partners, and we look forward to engaging with many more of you in the room. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Rebecca, for that. We have these really, really exciting projects here, and since you described so nicely what kind of financial mechanisms you are actually developing and implementing under your project, I think it will be a great opportunity for Tangeni to do the same. Could you tell us what is the financial mechanism that you are using?
Okay, so the financial mechanism we are using from the MAF is a grant. So it was a 20 million euro grant, and that was blended with finance from the French Development Agency of up to about 100 billion euros, and it was further aided by our Namibian government with a contribution of roughly 20 million euros. And the idea is that the incentives that we are going to give to potential producers of bringing the biomass to the power station will leverage further private finance within Namibia, within the SME space, to mobilize more private finance within the bush biomass sector, which will obviously create more jobs, more opportunities. And in a country like Namibia, with I think the second highest Gini coefficient in the world and a lot of unemployment, I think it's quite pivotal. So we are also very thankful to the MAF because this funding that's been given to us will make a big transformational change in a country like Namibia.
Wow, this is great. Thank you so much. I would like to actually take this opportunity to alert you to the fact that the Mitigation Action Facility has developed a decarbonization report. The report is available on our website. There will be cards at the front with a QR code that you can scan so that you can access the report. I would like to then formally close the first section of this session and invite you to interact with each other, network, and in that scope, we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to us about what we do. We have 2 posters on this side that depicting the application roadmap and an example project from Brazil. And on this side, we have the world map depicting the portfolio that we have, as well as the way we achieve decarbonization. With that said, I would like to welcome you to grab a bite and a drink. And if you have questions that you want to post before you go, this would also be an opportunity, but we are happy to engage and network. Thank you so much to our donors for being here. Okay.